Hello there, hope you're doing good. In today's video, I'm sharing with you guys 10 tips to help you improve your photography. Let's dive into this. And for me, the number one tip I would give to anyone is to study and understand light. I'm going to be straightforward with this. If you don't understand light, your picture is going to look like crap. So how do you get good light? It's pretty simple. There are specific times during the day where the light is simply awesome. The 2-3 hours after sunrise are for me maybe the best time for taking pictures. The angle of the sun and the light, the quality of the light, the softness of it is really great for taking portraits or even landscape photography. If you're a bit lazy, and that's not really a good thing, you can go for the sunset. 2-3 hours before sunset is also a perfect time for making good pictures, and it's what people call the golden hour. 2 hours before the sun disappears, you will have beautiful colors in the sky, those warm tones on your model's skin. You know, it's really the number one tip. If you haven't tried this yet, put this on your list. And if you're like me and you're trying to have empty scenes for your pictures, getting up early is maybe the best solution. I'm also using strobes outdoors, and although it can help you shoot at any time of the day, I also recommend using strobes and natural light during these hours. Number 2, composition. This is really important, guys. You gotta work on your compositions. I even made a little video about this last week. Be sure to check it out. Think before you press that button, please. Try different angles. Does it look good standing up, kneeling down, laying on the ground? Think about how these different perspectives affect your photo. How does it make you feel? Do you want to give that powerful dominant role to the viewer or to your subject? It's up to you. I've said it before, what is the purpose behind your shot? What is the story that you want to tell? Unfortunately, I won't be able to go further on this here, but you can find tons of information about this on the web, YouTube, blogs, etc. Number 3, locations. In famous cities, you have these locations that are photographed by millions and millions of people, amateurs, tourists, and even professionals. I'm not telling you not to shoot there. I'm just telling you that there are millions of places everywhere, wherever you are, that are amazing. You just have to take the extra time to look out for them. I'm insisting on this. What sets a lot of photographers apart is that they're willing to make those research. And then they get up with fresh locations that are rarely used for photo shoots. But if you're forced to make that picture in front of that famous monument that has been photographed 1,000 times, go back to number 2 and try to find that original perspective, new angle to make this photo your own. Number 4, pay attention to the background. I've seen this all over the web, on Instagram. I've done it myself. You know, when you're shooting a performer and he's doing a crazy thing, the photo is fantastic, but then you realize in post that he has a building sticking out of his butt. This totally ruins the picture. Avoid having any objects sticking out of any parts of your model's body. Avoid busy backgrounds as much as possible. Anything that can distract the viewer from the main subject. What can I say? Oh yes, keep it leveled unless you're going for that tilted look. And please use the bokeh, that blurry thing, as an artistic tool and not only to blur out the background because it's uninteresting. Number 5, learn your camera. What do you do every time you buy a new camera? Take it out the box, put fresh batteries in, a new SD card, and you're out shooting. 6 months later, you've only used 5% of your camera's capabilities, which is a shame. Get out of the automatic mode, read the manual, and try and customize the buttons of your camera to make it your own. Now I'm no longer thinking about the next button I'm going to press. I'm only thinking about the picture I'm actually making. Now I know what shutter speed and ISO I need to use to photograph a still object indoors or outdoors. Same thing for if I want to freeze action during an event, commercial shoot, or whatever. This has become a part of me. In other words, study this and don't be lazy. Number 6, Learn to use your lenses. It's so too many S's for me. Number 6, learn your lenses. They all have different personalities, different stories to tell. A lot of photographers use like 85 millimeters and above to shoot portraits. I've been going wide recently on my ballot photography, and it's just because I like having the ability to incorporate a little bit more of the surroundings, of the background in my shots. It's really a matter of taste. I used to overuse the 50mm lens, which is a fantastic, cheap, prime lens. You can use it for portraits, landscape photography, wedding photography, anything you want. Like I said, I've been shooting wide recently because I love incorporating a lot of the background and all these elements around into my shot and playing with lines, architecture, and all those things that can enhance the performance of the dancers, performers that I'm shooting. But not all lenses are made for everything. You gotta test it for yourself. Shooting a portrait with a 11mm lens might not be the best thing unless you're going for a goofy, funny kind of portrait. Personally, I'm using the 70 to 200mm for my portrait works. I'm also using the 85. I'm not using the 50 anymore. The 24 to 70 is also often used with the 16 to 35 for all my dancers, gymnastics, athlete work. And I'm actually testing a lens, this huge 11 to 24. I'm testing it. I'm not gonna keep it, but I'm testing it. And I hope to make a review soon. Number 7, this is also a topic that has been widely discussed all over the web. It's, do you have to shoot raw or not? Personally, I shoot raw, and I advise people to do so. I color grade my pictures, I retouch my pictures, so I need the best possible file that my sensor, my camera can give me. RAW gives me room to work on my files. I'm color grading my files, I'm photoshopping my files, so that's really important for me. If you're a sports photographer or whatever photographer you are, and your job requires you to make a lot of pictures that you have to send fast, I totally understand that you need to shoot in JPEG. This means if you're shooting JPEG, you're barely touching your photos. You're sending them out straight out of camera. For me, the power of RAW helps you get that photo you love to the next level. Which leads me to the next point. Don't be afraid to use a photo editing software. I'm not gonna lie, it takes time to master. I personally started with Lightroom and then went on to Photoshop. Lightroom is a really powerful tool. You can use it as a catalog. You can use it to edit your photos, to color grade your photos, to do almost anything you want, even at a professional level. Like anything in life, it's gonna be frustrating at first. It's a new thing you have to learn. But trust me, Lightroom is intuitive and you will get to master it in no time. You have a handful of photographers out there giving out free tutorials to help you master this tool. I'll put some of them in the description box below. Once you will master Lightroom, you will be able to stylize your photos and give that signature look to your work. Number 9, work with talented people. When you're starting out, you don't have that many options. You will have to shoot your dog, your cat, your neighbor, your friends, whoever wants to waste some time with a starting photographer. Hopefully your skills will improve, and depending on your career goals, you will want to go from shooting your neighbor's son kicking the ball to the professional soccer player. I've been there, and for long I thought my work wasn't good enough to work with professionals. You have to believe in yourself and in your work. There are professionals out there that will want to have your eye and your skills to make them look good. Working with professionals will boost your creativity and it will get your work out there. In other words, get out there and reach out to these people. Trust me, even if you're very talented, you will not make a career out of your cat's photos. And last but not least, use a tripod. This one helped me a lot on some of my most challenging pictures. Sometimes you don't have the option to work on the ideal time of the day. Choose your framing, your composition, dial your settings, and then put your camera on the tripod. Once you nail the pose or movement, take a few pictures with a few seconds interval or wait for people to move. These clean plates will help you remove anyone in post by just masking them out in Photoshop. I think this one definitely needs its own video. So that's it for today. I think you guys will have tons and tons of questions from me after watching this video. Subscribe if you haven't already and give that little thumbs up for support. Thanks for hanging out again this week with me. Rendezvous next Tuesday. Until then, have a good one.